There is something so beautiful about being in a flow state and also being a wanderer, somebody who is wanting to be in that flow state, who is wanting to explore and experience the richness of life through being and through witnessing and through observing self. Although there is a difference between somebody who is truly in a flow state, wandering, seeing what comes, come what may, and genuinely appreciating the experience, versus somebody who is aimless and who is not aware, who is not present in their body, who is not present with their experience, and who lacks an ability to feel. This conditioning happens over time, especially if you find yourself in a state of distraction. And there 100% is chemical warfare, psychological warfare, physical warfare that goes on. You must be aware of this and you must acknowledge it. And you must acknowledge your current position in relationship to those things. Not to ruminate on those things, not to remain in a state of fear or worry, but to accurately assess yourself, like I always say. So this is why I bring this up, the difference between the present wanderer in a flow state versus the aimless wanderer who is wasting their time. That's genuinely what I would call it, just being authentic. It's a waste of time to go through your life, go throughout your life experience and feel as though you're some sort of explorative wanderer who is just nomadic or whatever you want to call it. But in reality, you just lack discipline. In reality, you just lack present moment awareness. So that and the person who is truly present, truly in a flow state, and gets to experience that. When you are in a flow state, there is absolutely no separation between your desire and your experience. You are embodied in the things that you actually want to feel in this life. You are actually in alignment with the things that you envision for yourself on a very subtle level. And that's why the subtleties of life, the little things in life, are so essential, because they are what make up the bigger picture. And when you go throughout life without acknowledging how sweet the subtlety of your life is, you miss out on the experience. You miss out on the fullness of the experience. So how do we know when we're operating in a flow state? Or often I feel like we do know because we feel that dip in our energy. But how do we come out of that? And how do we train ourselves to remain in an embodied state, remain in a state where we're not wasting our time? We're not using our mind, our mental faculties. We're not appreciating the fact that we're alive to the degree that we should be, right? That we should be, so that we could truly get the most out of the experience. When you feel like there's something missing in your life, for example, like you're operating from the not enoughness, that space where you wish that you had more, like many of us always wish we had more and more, without the understanding that that is the nature of reality. You're just in a state of longing, or in a state of fragmentation, in a state of separation from your true nature. When you're operating in that space, you are no longer operating in a flow state. You are in that aimless wanderer mode, is what I'm calling it, for lack of a better term. So flow state is what you want to operate in, because it feels good and you build momentum from that state. You're able to consciously create momentum when you enter into a flow state. And to disrupt that flow state, or to completely dismiss your ability to be in that flow state, is to subject yourself to the temptation that is being made readily available to you, to the distraction. It's to disempower yourself, or to subject yourself to the choice to be disempowered, to choose to disempower yourself. You're always choosing. And it can be very overwhelming to operate in a flow state and to continuously build momentum from that state. Because when you operate from a distracted state and from the program that people want you to be in, that we are all being conditioned to be in, you are training your nervous system, and you are solidifying even more so within your subconscious mind to not be able to hold the power that you actually have within you, right? The goal is disempowerment, the distraction, the low self-esteem, the fear, the doubt, all of that. The goal for all of those things is to disempower you, so that you do not know your power. So that's why when you actually start operating in the flow state, it's kind of a challenge to truly stay there. And you subconsciously choose to disempower yourself because it's uncomfortable to know your power and to embrace it. Most of us, I believe that most of you guys who are here, on some level, you know your power to that degree where you really want to embody it, and you really do have that genuine heart's desire to go forth and be that person that you admire, be that person that you respect, and continuously become that person. But the reality is that if you opt out for the distraction, if you become that aimless wanderer subconsciously, and then consciously you declare that you aren't that you are the flow state wanderer, it's being in a state of confusion. So you have to be able to know, like, where am I actually at? That's the most essential thing. And it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be afraid of your flaws. You don't have to be afraid of the psychological and chemical warfare that goes on. Like, it is what it is. What are we going to do about it, right? What are we going to choose to do about it? Are we going to give our power over to something that is honestly irrelevant at this point? Or are we going to choose the path that is actually the path of least resistance? Is not the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance is the path of most resistance. When you train yourself to do what is easy all the time, you're setting yourself up for failure. When you train yourself to do the hardest things first, you will be successful. And those things become easier and easier. So allow yourself to accurately assess your current position and to embrace it, not without feeling shame, but without staying in a state of shamefulness. To be shameless is to be dishonest with yourself. Shame is there for a reason. Guilt is there for a reason. We don't want to stay there, but they serve a purpose. You're doing something that your heart goes against. And if you don't feel that shame, or if you consciously choose or subconsciously choose to tell yourself that you don't feel shame and that you don't feel guilt, you could imagine what happens. The result is your life. The result is what your life is telling you and reflecting to you. And then you pretend that you like it, or you pretend that it's enough. It is a major fragmentation of consciousness. It is a major disassociation from self and environment. So you are safeguarding yourself when you enter into a flow state, an unbroken stream of activity and conscious awareness and choice. And you appreciate, that's where the gratitude comes in. As you go throughout your life, you sing your praises of gratitude for every little thing. When you experience peace, when you experience gratitude for the flow of your life experience, from the moment you open your eyes, you give thanks, you speak gratitude, appreciation. You have to omit the mumbling and the grumbling and the frustration and the pain that you cause when you complain. You wake up and you are grateful, genuine. From there, you go and do what you're supposed to do. You go to the bathroom. You handle your purification process. You take a shower and you give thanks for the water that is running off your body and clearing off impurities. You appreciate the freshness of your breath and your teeth and your ability to really clean out the plaque. You put the oil, the shea butter on, you apply it on your face, and you relish in the experience of applying it and feeling it and opening the bottle and closing it. That's not your cue to go sit on the couch and start scrolling, or that's not your cue to start completely obliterating yourself mentally without your awareness or with your awareness. Your thoughts, they go all day, and often they go unnoticed. And there is a way that you can consciously start choosing your thoughts, or you can start consciously changing your thoughts in those first few hours of the day. You can do it by gratitude. You can do it by acknowledging everything that I'm sharing with you in this video and creating a set of affirmations that will assist you in that shift. That's a choice. That's a practice. That's a muscle that you build. You move your body. From there, you move into whatever it is that you do. You drink water. Maybe you make some oatmeal or some cereal. I don't know what you do with your time, but do it like a sweep of experience, a sweep of energy. You flow into the next thing. You're intentional about the next thing, the next best option for you, the next best course of action for you to take. That's why routine is so essential, to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. You have an aim, you have a goal in mind. And this flow builds momentum towards a frequency that is in alignment with having a mind that is intact. And when you pair that with your purpose, when you pair that with what your heart is truly called to do in this life, all of those things align naturally in the life experience that you're having. And I can't help but think of like the Botosai, Rurouni Kenshin. I don't know if you guys watch that anime, but I love that anime. Because he was a wanderer. And he gave up his old life. He gave up his old life of being a manslayer. The most epic manslayer. He could kill 30 men with one fall-tail swoop. But he gave that life up and he decided to become a wanderer. And when people would meet him and actually interact with him, they realized his character. They realized who he was as a person. And when danger came, he protected people. And he did his best to not go back into his manslayer ways. And he succeeded in that endeavor. Very much so. And he faced a lot of trials. But he was able to do this because he was disciplined, because he knew in his heart what his purpose was. He made a choice. He walked his path, and even though he didn't know necessarily where he was going next, he knew who he was, and that's foundational. You have to know who you are, and you have to know that you stand for something in your heart, and that you don't stand for certain things. If you don't choose your life and your purpose, I promise you somebody's going to choose for you. And you don't want that. And I know you don't want that. You know you don't want that. Maybe you don't know where you want to go for dinner. Maybe you don't know what color to choose when you are selecting a phone case and you would like somebody to choose for you, but that is different. You know for a fact that you don't want the default somebody else's will imposed upon you. So I trust that was helpful. Please leave some comments, talk about it, share about it, think about it, reflect upon it, and do something about it. And you already know, reach out to me, email me if you want to work with me one-on-one. And I really appreciate you guys for being here.